we go. In 3, 2, 1.
I think that's a good idea, actually.
What is that?
Glade underwear.
Glade underwear. Glade suppositories. Can
Yeah.
you say suppositories? Yeah.
They should get in on that business.
Boop.
They have something like it. It exists.
What do you mean?
It exists.
How do you know?
I've looked into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Merry Christmas.
As fresh as the driven snow.
What do you
Just
what do you
like
what do you
that.
mean? It's a suppository or it's an underwear
It's a
insert?
blocker. It's a blocker.
So where does it go? Up your Yahoo.
No, it's just underwear that blocks any unpleasant smell that may.
And the Glade people aren't in on this.
I don't think Glade people are. No.
No.
Probably Johnson & Johnson, though.
No. Get down there with your powder and your cream and your whatever and your suppositories and everything.
Well, we found the powder isn't good for you, so that
Oh, that's
they got
true.
the
Well, they took the talc out of it. That was the issue.
wasn't.
The talc. It was the talc out of it. At one point, they recommended to stop using it on babies, and the reason was the talc part, not the actual.
That seems like that would be the most innocuous thing there, you know.
But we're all here, and our butts are still on.
That's true.
Maybe there was babies that didn't make it.
Maybe it's the alien babies.
Anyway, the Glade people should get in on that. Maybe they should put like a little Glade plug-in. And they just squeeze it every now and then. Or it activates upon flatulence.
Flatulence. No,
You
speaking
smell
of
like a peach.
speaking of
Peach and
flatulence,
farts.
there was a gentleman at a dollar store down in Florida the other day.
Well, I'm here. I have it right in front of me.
You do.
Maybe.
All right.
A Florida woman faces an aggravated assault.
That is the exact same one.
Charged after authorities say she passed gas in line at a dollar store and pulled a knife on a man who complained about it. Broward County, because everything happens in Broward County, Florida.
Nothing good happens there, that's for sure.
Well, they don't know how to punch out a... Isn't that where they did the whole Al Gore
The ballot.
ballot
Hanging
issue? Hanging
chads.
chad issue.
Yeah, she might have had a hanging chad after that flatulence.
Oh my lord.
So, but she had a hanging chad, and he was complaining about it. She pulls a knife on the guy. And says,
Threatens to
complain
gut him.
about it.
Naturally.
And threatens to gut him.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
gonna gut you if you. Looks like her guts were falling out. Apparently.
That's what happens when you eat Chipotle.
Oh, sounds like a Taco Bell thing to me.
You think? Well, maybe. It depends on, what dollar store it was at. So, I mean, I can only imagine, sometimes you get some very interesting customers at the dollar store.
It's probably like Taco del Sol or something. There's no Chipotle's near dollar stores.
I would, yeah.
Generally.
A little too high end.
You might find a Taco Bell about a quarter mile away.
Juan's Taco Emergency, 911, 911.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about it. That's what we're going to rename the show. Let's talk about it.
Talking about it.
So, yeah, I mean, you're in all these situations, i.e., the obvious, elevators, right?
Right.
You ever let one squeeze out by accident?
No, never.
Not by accident.
No, I'm kind of,
You're in control.
I squeak, when it comes to that.
You're still in control.
Still in control. Give me about 5 more years, though, and I'll be the guy crop dusting at Walmart. I got crop dusted at Walmart the other day. I was like, my son and I were going to look for something for Turkey Day, and it was like we were walking through there. It was like we both looked at each other at the same moment. We were like, Oh, man.
Well, there's a whole science to it, right? When to do it, when not to do it.
How the air patterns carrying down the aisle.
Right. the whole
Where
thing.
you're at when it actually
This is in
blooms.
that book that I was writing called Men Unzipped. About it's a couple sections in there about that.
Really?
Well, let me give you an example of what's in that book. When you go to public restrooms,
Mm-hmm.
men, let's say like a concert venue or a baseball game, or maybe more like a concert venue, because the guys are trying to look cool, particularly the younger ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want to look in the mirror, but they don't want to look like they're being,
Primpy?
like they're primping and that they're full of themselves. But they want to do it. So the way to do it is they wash their hands, right?
I hope everybody's washing their hands, to be honest.
No. If you look, guys will wash their hands in order to look at themselves.
All right.
They'll take the time at the sink to look at the mirror. Did not experience this. Think of all the whole things that go on inside a men's bathroom.
No, I try not to.
Well, think about it. Just think about it. Okay, you walk into a bathroom at a concert. It's not too busy. There's 10 stalls. Guys scatter out, right? You don't go right next to the guy.
Spread out, you numbskulls.
Right.
Yeah.
You look for one.
A little bit
If you go up to one where there's 8 stalls available and you go right next to the other guy, you're being weird.
Yes, you are.
Right. Even if there is a divider. If there's no divider, then you're definitely being weird.
Definitely being weird.
These things go on.
It's a good way to get your foot peed on, if you get a little weird in there,
Yeah, I pee on my own feet. I need somebody else doing it.
That'll get them back off you real quick.
You could.
Oops, sorry, got away from me there, buddy.
I've had to change in the bathroom before, when I used to fly a lot. I used a handicap bathroom now.
Oh, yeah.
You can't change in a regular stall.
No.
I mean, I'm kind of big. You're big, right?
Oh, yeah.
I can't fit in those. You don't want to touch anything.
No. I mean, it's like you're laying out your
Trying to
other
be-
set of shoes.
Yeah, you're trying to
You
be
got
like
another
a
set
hover.
of shoes.
Right.
You're tiptoeing, you're hanging, making sure you don't touch anything.
Yeah. Just disgusting.
It's you never know what's going
Hey,
on. in there.
word on the street is that the women's bathrooms are worse. I don't really want to know about it, though.
I can't believe that. I
Yeah,
find
that's
it hard to
that's
believe.
what they say. Well, that's because we like to think of them as all pretty. Tell us what goes on in there.
Nothing good happens. there.
Nothing good happens in there.
Nothing good happens in the men's room either.
Yeah,
so,
but
I mean,
maybe I think it's a little cleaner. Maybe because the majority of us just go in there to take a leak, right? Whereas the women go in there to do a lot more than that.
they got
And
all
they're
kinds
always
of
sitting
things going
down and doing stuff down there. They got all kinds of pieces and parts to deal with.
For gosh sake.
on. Please remain seated until the ride is finished.
Yeah, right. Put a strap in your seatbelt. They're doing all kinds. Tell me about it, right? Give me an example.
No.
No, really,
I don't-
please do.
No, just a lot of uncleanliness. Just
See, we don't want to think about that.
Mm-mm.
We
Nope.
like to think of you guys as like, everything's like perfect and pretty down there.
You know what's the most annoying thing about the men's rooms? Is the guys that can't stand close enough to not piss all over the floor. At the urinal. At the urinal.
That's because they think they got a 12-inch, you know what?
Yeah.
I saw a sign that said, stand closer. It's not as big as you think.
oh,
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're all walking around like they think they're John Holmes or something.
Yeah. Like they can
We
piss
got a
up.
fire hose here. Better stand back.
Yeah. Not in your 50s. It's a dribble. If you're lucky.
Yeah, that's why I drink more coffee.
Keep
myself feeling young.
Cleaned out, right? Good stuff.
All right, so we went to the bathroom humor. Oh, who died?
Oh, well, besides, let's go to the obvious. George H.W.
H.W.
He's dead.
4 days they're going to leave his corpse there in the Capitol or whatever, in the rotunda.
I think they're burying him on Wednesday.
Yeah. I heard 4 days he was going to be for observation.
Open casket.
I don't know, I guess.
I don't know how they do that. Yeah, I was looking at some of the older pictures of him. And, you know, they showed a lot when his wife died, Barbara, 6 months ago? 6 months ago. That's what true love, right? Your wife dies, and then, you know, lifelong love, and you just go with her, basically.
Yeah.
In this particular case, I think he was probably maybe a little bit of that. And,
He was kind of already sketchy before she keeled over, though.
yeah.
He was already kind of...
Yeah, he was ailing for quite some time.
Yeah.
He's been in a wheelchair for years.
He has.
He had an interesting history. I mean, about, you know, he was a Navy pilot, aviator, CIA director.
That's right. He was a CIA director.
I think he was CIA director during, God, people are going to get me on this one, Nixon.
No, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
And then he became VP, of course, for 8 years under Reagan, and then 4 years. And I think he kind of got nailed for a couple of reasons. He didn't. Well, I mean, I think the forces were against him for his reelection. I'll give you 4 points of why he potentially lost.
All right.
One is Bill Clinton was such a vibrant character, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had a personality, political personality to die for. The no new taxes thing got him caught when he said, I commit to no new taxes, whatever the exact verbiage was.
Read my lips.
Read my lips, thank you.
No new taxes.
But then he raised taxes.
And he raised the shit out of them, too.
Plus, we had the first Iraq War during his tenure.
Holy crap, you're right.
Yeah.
That was him.
92 or 90.
I don't know why I thought Iraq War was Reagan for some reason, but you're right. Yep, absolutely. Getting old.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, and then the pendulum was against him, meaning, you know, rarely do you go 16 years of a particular party. And
Correct.
so, I mean,
yeah, he had a lot.
all this was against him, so he didn't win a second term, which is kind of unusual for an incumbent. But I think they did I think people wanted Reagan 3, and that's not what they got.
No, he was not Reagan 3.
No. So they were like, all right, we'll try Clinton.
1,000 points of light.
I watched a documentary about. I know that these are all one-sided or leaning, but there's a documentary on. I want to say it's Netflix. It might be off now, or I'm sorry, it was on A&E.
All right.
Monica Lewinsky.
Ah.
And it
The Clinton affair.
It was called the Clinton affair. Yes. And extremely detailed. The information that you didn't know before.
Oh, the people, the interactions, and the who's who and what's what.
Mm.
When was that on? Was that on just recently?
Yeah, it was on just recently. I just watched it a few weeks ago.
Okay, I may have picked up
like
a section of that.
3-4 hours. It was very interesting. It was actually not all about Monica Lewinsky. It was more about the Clinton administration and how he got there and the supposed affairs that he had and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then it was actually quite interesting. So Monica was in it, and she's still like in love with the guy. You can tell. But I guess Hillary Clinton posted something during the Me Too, during the height of the Me Too. and so basically said, women, please come out if you're ever assaulted and so on and so forth. Right thing to do. So one of the women that he had allegedly raped, not Monica Lewinsky, and this was on Twitter, I guess, responded to her tweet and said, I'm speaking up. Your husband raped me in 19 whatever.
And she did everything she could to smear, slander, and undermine her case.
She was one of those 4 people.
There was like 4 or 5 women that came forward all at once. Yeah.
And they were all sitting at the Trump. Do you remember when Trump brought all these people out, these 4 or 5 women out during his campaign?
I remember they had a picture of Bill.
To kind of flip, to kind of flip things around a little bit to make it look like, he's not the assaulter or the womanizer, that Bill Clinton's the womanizer.
Right.
She was one of those women. So she alleges that he actually raped her.
Yeah.
A few years.
And she was talking to Lewinsky during the whole thing, right?
No. This is prior to Lewinsky.
Okay.
Years and years earlier. You're thinking about, what's her face? I can't remember her name. But she's the one that was recording all of the interactions with Monica.
Yeah, okay.
Without Monica knowing.
Right.
And then handed it over to, she was going to hand it over to a reporter. Anyway, the whole thing fell apart.
Right.
And they ended up kind of pointing fingers at each other.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting documentary. I can't remember her name for the life of me. I see her face.
Linda Tripp.
Yeah, Linda Tripp.
Tripp. There we go.
She's the one that was recording Monica Lewinsky the whole time. And Monica confided in her and said,
right.
Yeah, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And Linda Tripp behind the scenes was kind of like selling it off, or preparing to sell it off.
Right.
And there was a Republican guru woman who was vying to get the information out of Linda Tripp. Can't remember her name. There's politics for you, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then she detailed what she had done with Bill. It was multiple times. It wasn't just like one time. And then they showed the depositions, which were interesting as well, of Bill.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And you can see the moment he gets caught.
Really?
Yeah. It wasn't public at the time. It wasn't the tape the video where he says, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. It was prior to that. So they show the depositions, and you can see the moment he gets caught. The focus of the camera is entirely on him, his face.
Mm-hmm.
And they ask something very specific about a very particular incident.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see him swallow.
Really?
He's like,
no shit.
You got to be
They got
kidding me.
They were listening.
Yeah,
the CIA was.
Well,
listening.
I guess the premise is that only he and Monica would have known that. So he became aware at that very moment that Monica had been talking to someone.
Surprised Monica didn't turn up face down in a river somewhere. Seriously,
They couldn't. She was too. By the time all this
she was out,
came to light,
this
is all out.
Yeah.
They would have had to have done it prior.
Well, there was that other.
But he was still sending her gifts.
Really? Well, there was that other senator. Remember, he had a little intern fling, and she turned up dead. And they were able to gloss all that over. And I'm trying to remember that he's still in government, I think, right now.
Is this recently?
It was right around that time.
About the Clinton time.
Yeah, it was right around that or just before that. And he was getting it on with some intern somewhere, and she turned up dead. And he was like, oh, I didn't see her. And it's like, but you were the last known person to be talking to her on the phone, so what's up with that?
Little Robert Wagner throw over the boat type of thing.
I think she turned up in a park dead, like she was jogging or something like that. I think it was one of those deals.
Edward Kennedy.
Ed Kennedy. Yeah.
Well, that girl, that was his wife, wasn't it? No. Chappaquiddick.
Oh, Chappaquiddick. Yeah. Was that Edward Kennedy?
Ted Kennedy.
Ed Kennedy. Okay.
Yeah, Edward Ted Kennedy.
Yeah.
They never figured that out either. Well, I think they know the answer. But he had a storied career nonetheless as a Kennedy.
Oh yeah.
Until he passed away about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, I saw
probably
him.
in a time warp. It's probably longer than that. But let's take a guess on when Ted Kennedy died. What is it? 2018? I say 2012.
Oh.
You're up.
2010.
2009.
What the fuck? I am in such a time warp.
Time warp.
I swear, the older you get, the worse it gets. Everything's yesterday.
Yeah.
It's not yesterday. But he made it through. You know, I was seen as like a superstar and
Oh yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, he was still riding the coattails of the whole Kennedy dynasty thing.
No, sure. You know, that's for another day. I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, let's do. There was an interesting
both the brothers.
Oh yeah,
John.
the one that flew out and never came back.
Well, that's the son.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You think something? All right, so we'll throw this part out there. Do you think that was legit or not? Because can I preface this, please?
Mm-hmm.
He was clearly going to be president at some point. John F. Kennedy Jr. is who we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
right? He had everything going for him.
He did.
He was an attorney, good-looking guy.
Excellent pilot.
Media loved him. Good pilot. Media loved him. He was on the cover of everything all the time. This is during the Princess Diana days.
Oh yeah.
Right, there were two.
Royalty over there.
Royalty and
the
the royalty.
here,
Right?
yeah.
It was John F. Kennedy and Princess Diana, right? And they died close together, didn't they?
Very close.
Can you look that up for us?
Mm.
When when Princess Diana died and John F. Kennedy. So the question is do you think something funny was going on there?
Absolutely.
Because they didn't want that Kennedy administration back. And he was going to, I don't think he wasn't running. He hadn't announced that he was going to run. It was clear he was being queued up for it, though.
There was a possibility. And it was kind of the old school, normal, people rise to power because they rise to power. It wasn't somebody coming out of left field somewhere like we're seeing nowadays. There was kind of a normal succession.
Back then, right? The Bush. Mm-hmm. You can go way back to John Adams and John Quincy Adams, right? His son. He
but
won
it'd been
presidency.
like that for 200, 300,
right.
200 years.
Yeah,
right?
we've had multiple father-son presidents, the Roosevelts,
right,
the Adams family, which was a show as well, by the way. John Adams and John Quincy Adams. Then, of course, the Kennedys, and Bobby Kennedy was going to be queued up to take over as sort of, what do I want to call him, Jack Kennedy? It's like I know him or something. I don't know him. They call him Jack Kennedy.
Yeah,
John F. Kennedy. And then it was clear that Bobby Kennedy was going to make his way up.
Yep. And then he just
so they
disappeared.
both killed both of them off. And
then how did that affect everything? Because Clinton had already been in, right? Clinton had already done his 2 terms when he disappeared.
Hey, can I get something in? Let me sidebar for a second.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm watching this Lewinsky thing. I'm sorry, Clinton affair thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they did this shot on purpose. As Clinton is testifying, or his attorney is testifying in front of the Senate committee, guess who's right behind him?
Behind Clinton?
Yeah. First row of the audience, maybe 2 over.
Hillary?
And no. So I'm sure they edited it this way.
Okay.
To make it more interesting. It's Brett Kavanaugh, Supreme Court Justice.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Taking a participant in taking down Clinton.
Oh, payback.
Connect the dots.
Payback. That's what that is. Holy crap. No, really, I didn't know.
Well,
Kavanaugh
actually, he
in it.
was part of Brett Kavanaugh was part of the investigating team
Okay.
against Bill Clinton, which is why he was sitting behind the attorney.
Well, that explains a lot.
And then now Trump puts up Kavanaugh as the Supreme Court justice, just despite
Oh, yeah.
Bill Clinton and Hillary.
Oh, my God. Everybody treats Trump like he's an idiot, but it's like, man, he is ruthless.
Well, I mean, when was that? We're talking 95, 96. Whatever.
That was a while ago. That's a long time to hold a grudge.
Well, you thought about it. That's why they call it the grudge. All right, so what's the answer on when John F. and Princess Diana died? I actually looked it up like 8 minutes ago.
Okay, so Princess Di died August 97.
Okay.
And then JFK
No. Junior.
Jr.
97. So I bet you I don't think he made it out of the 90s.
99.
Aha.
99.
What-
July of 99.
Just less than 2 years
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. Huh.
If you'd been there for the youngsters on this show, I think that's the last time that America felt like it had a prince, if you will, like a dynasty. Like, he was our version of...
Somebody that wasn't self-serving in office, that
Right.
we would not expect to be self-serving in office.
Because the Kennedys were...
Yeah.
They were just...
I don't know. Teddy, man, that guy used to bloviate like you wouldn't believe. I mean,
Well, I mean, you could look at the whole bunch of them, and there's a bunch of mischaracters inside their family, right? Besides just Ted Kennedy, right? There was a few others that were drunkards and just lived off the Cape Cod thing,
Right.
or whatever, right? But a few powerful ones in there too,
Right.
Really powerful ones.
the trust fund babies, and then the people who had some clout. Yeah.
So the daughter's still out there, but she ran, and this Caroline Kennedy, she ran for Senate in New York at one point. And maybe she did or she didn't, or was thinking about it, or they were trying to get her to do it.
She probably wasn't left enough to survive in a New York election.
Oh, yeah, they didn't want to, she wanted to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she wanted to stay out of the politics. She's still out there, Caroline. Which is where the Neil Diamond song comes from, by the way.
I did not know that.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
What, Neil Diamond used to date her?
I think he, Brittany's going to have to keep looking stuff up. Where'd Sweet Caroline come from? Neil Diamond. It came from,
That would be kind of weird because Neil Diamond's pretty old and she's not that old.
no, I think he wrote it when she was born.
Really?
Yeah.
That's even creepier.
Well, no, if you go back to the thought process back then, that we had a prince and a princess of sorts, and so when Caroline was, Jackie Kennedy and John F. Kennedy, so when she was born, it was kind of like I was going to say Meghan Merkel. That's not her. Who's the first baby? Who's the first baby of? Who's the first baby of?
Kate,
Kate
and
and
William, Charlotte.
Charlotte. She was like the
Baby
Charlotte. All right,
Charlotte.
so Neil Diamond.
It's an ode to JFK and his wife.
When was that written? Does it say?
69.
It's a good number. Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. yeah. 69. I need TP for my bunghole.
Just for those on the podcast, that was Kirk, not me. He does good impressions.
No, that was Beavis. And
So
Butthead.
when was she born? When was she born? Well, obviously she was born. So Sweet Caroline, what they sing at the New York Yankees shows, baseball games, is about Caroline Kennedy.
She was born in 57.
So he did write it at a weird age, 11. I mean, either write it when she's
Come
born,
on,
or
it's a nice
either write it when she's
gesture.
born, or write it when she's older.
Yeah.
No, that's very sweet.
You know,
Yeah.
No
I
pun
don't-
intended.
I don't think Neil Diamond's a creep, so at least I don't know. But yeah.
Okay, he I don't think so either. Of course, he does wear gold pants and sing about 11-year-old girls, but nonetheless,
Well, yeah.
I love Neil Diamond as well. All right, but so who got busted this week?
Who did get busted?
Who got me too this week?
Oh,
Neil Tyson DeGrasso.
there you go.
Oh.
Thank you. I was going to say Tyson.
And
Tyson
again,
the
please don't
boxer.
pass judgment on the gentleman before he's actually, and that's what's unfortunate about our society.
Yeah, but he was the one that was screaming and yelling on Twitter, "Believe the women, believe the women." Blah, 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 blah. I mean, he was
I know
off
now
the
he's
deep end.
Now he's saying,
No.
because I think Nat Geo and Discovery or whatever shows that he's on or investigating the allegations.
Yeah, he's
And he-
like a science guy, right?
Yeah, you know who he is. He's the African American guy he's very likable. He's on Rogan all the time. He's very likable. He simplifies science for people. He's kind of comedic in nature. I think he has a big following, and I like him. He's fine with me. Whether he did this stuff or not, I don't know. They're accusing him of inappropriate behavior, which could be anything nowadays.
This podcast could be considered inappropriate behavior, but you know.
Yeah, so what?
Just
All right,
saying.
and then I guess some woman from years earlier claimed that he raped her
Damn.
in the hotel. The whole he Cosby'd her. She had a sip of water and woke up naked,
Jeez.
and he was like, "Did you enjoy that?" Or
That's
something.
not-
So I don't want to say that that's exactly what happened, but something. So he's on the bubble right now. He's a very well liked individual.
Right. Probably one of those people with kind of a squeaky clean kind of.
He might have made our squeaky clean list the other day.
Yeah.
Another one down. Michael J. Fox. Just keep it clean. And who was number one? I forgot.
I think it was Tom Hanks when we left.
Tom
him.
Hanks and Michael J. Please, for the love of God, guys, just leave it alone. If anything else, just go screw each other.
Right.
Right.
I did see a good Tom Hanks movie just the other day. It was a movie that kind of slipped through the cracks, and it was about
The Post.
the lawyer. No, it was about the lawyer that went over to exchange for our U2 pilot. We lost a U2 pilot in like the late 50s.
Yes.
57.
Oh, you too.
Yeah, we lost a U2 pilot.
I thought you were saying
And just-
YouTube.
Yeah, no, sorry.
You as in the letter and two.
So what happened was he was actually a lawyer that actually was defending a guy that the FBI had caught, basically a Russian spy. So they wanted to hang this guy and give him the death penalty.
Did you hear
Russian
that?
spy.
Marco.
And that's all good.
Great grape soda. I'll do it.
Great drink.
Grape drink.
And so anyway, good movie. It was called
Bridge.
Spies on a Bridge, right?
Bridge of Spies.
Bridge of Spies. There we go. Spies on a Bridge.
What year did this come out?
You guys are making me work
I'll
today.
do research. Well, the last movie.
Hey, we're old.
the
We
la-
can't remember shit.
2015.
Wow, that wasn't that old. And I
You're
totally
it's
missed
old.
the movie.
You're in a
I
freaking-
totally missed the
you're on
movie.
time work
Yeah.
too. The last
There
movie
you
he did
go.
was The Post with Meryl Streep.
Holy crap, I missed that one too.
Yeah, which is I don't know, 6-7 months ago. It was probably 2 years ago.
It's 5
It's either 2 years ago or last month. Either way, split the difference on everything I say. All right. On years. So
Do a median mean
Did you know
average.
that? Do you know who Neil Tyson DeGrasso is?
No.
Oh, just stop talking.
Should I?
Nah.
No.
Do you remember John F. Kennedy Jr.?
Yes.
Okay, just objectively, what did you think of him?
I don't know. He didn't run the country, so.
Well, I mean, did you think he was was he a handsome man? Was he? Gonna
Oh,
make-
yeah. Oh, definitely.
And a
I
pilot.
like it.
All right, let's just be clear.
That's why I
that
remember him.
she's the one that purred or growled, not me. Yeah, you thought. What did you think his future would have been?
I mean, I thought he was maybe going to end up being president because his dad
Ding,
had
ding,
such a
ding,
huge
ding.
legacy that why not? He
Yeah.
basically was his dad and hopefully he could,
And
be
how
a
do
little more faithful than his dad.
Right, and how do
His
you
morals.
how do you think that the country viewed him at the time?
They viewed him as like a John F. Kennedy too,
Mm-hmm.
which was what he seemed like he was.
And she's younger than us, and she
Yeah.
gets,
She remembers
gets
it.
that whole
I'm
psyche.
pretty positive the majority of my generation would have voted for him if he ran for president, if he
Mm.
would have made it. to all
Based
that.
on
Yeah, I probably would've
based on
voted
what?
Based on the fact
That-
that
just give me the real answer.
John F. Kennedy was the best president that we had all heard about from our parents from any generation. So
Plus.
to put his son in there would have been, something that would have probably been smart, that we would have been like, oh, okay, we don't know who anybody else is, we'll vote him. And yes, of course, he's hot and
Yeah.
but
You know,
at the
there's-
end of the day, I don't want to vote a president just because he's pretty.
Why not? I'm trying to get in. What are you saying?
I'd vote for you.
Oh, yeah? Based on what?
'Cause he's
Based on the
pretty.
fat.
Because I'm beautiful.
No, because I've met you plenty of times. Well, I don't know you. We don't go and hang out on the weekends, but you seem like a good, down to earth, moral person. You're very intelligent. You're capable of running multiple companies, and that's
Okay,
more than
all right,
a lot of
that's
No,
enough.
presidents
allow
we've
her
had
to
lately.
continue.
Enough.
Mute them, please.
Well.
That's enough.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Jessica.
Okay.
That was very kind of you. I think I'll make you
I guess you're
Secretary of
welcome.
State.
I mean, all right, you're fired.
It was my job. I
I'm not
wanted to be
qualified for
Secretary
that.
of State.
VP, what are you talking about?
Oh, sweet.
Sweet.
Love
Going
you,
all
brother.
all the way to the top.
Buying votes.
Well, thank you for your input because we were just talking about.
You're quite welcome.
Do you think that? I don't know if you recall, he died in an airplane crash,
Mm-hmm.
and if we thought that was,
Tragic? Yes, it was.
well, it's certainly tragic. Was it? Him and Princess Diana died about 2 years apart. They were sort of our princes and princes of whatever of
Yep,
America.
accurate.
and-
Everybody
right.
loved Princess Diana except for Queen Elizabeth.
Right. Do you think that that he was taken out, like his father and
God,
his,
I don't
and his
doubt that.
uncle?
Politics is a dirty, dirty,
yeah.
dirty game. We've seen the amount of crap they'll sling each other on actual mainstream TV. Can you imagine what they plan and plot and do in the
What we
background?
don't know about, yeah.
Right.
Well, I think.
I've seen House of Cards.
Well,
I feel like that's accurate, though, to actual real life, because if you have the money and the power and you have less than desirable morals, you have no problem paying somebody to off someone for you. It means nothing to you because, sociopaths don't have conscience.
You're thinking about that part in. Well, I only watched the first few seasons when Spacey was still on it. When he pushes that girl,
Oh, yeah.
in front of the train.
Yeah,
the
and, like,
reporter.
50 other deaths that happened in that show in 3 seasons.
so let's just break that apart just a little bit. If John Jr. would not have crashed in a plane, how would that have changed the landscape? So let's say he does get up. He
Significantly.
gets 4
Oh, yeah.
years. Maybe he gets another 4 years.
Well, let's back up.
Who does that push out of the picture?
Let's back it up for a second.
The Bushes? Was that
No.
era?
No, talking about the succession of who could run and actually compete during that 4 to 8 years when he might
No,
be in.
what she's saying, I think, is that he was an attorney at the time in New York, and he died in '99.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, in all likelihood, he would have become either a senator or an attorney general between the 2000-2008 period, or he would have gone into politics and then run. So it would have been the 2000, probably
It would have been 2008 to
2008 plus.
12.
So it would have screwed up the
It would have screwed up Obama.
the Bush administration, the Obama administration, potentially one of those two.
Mm-hmm. Well, didn't Hillary run during when Obama came in? Hillary
Well, she
ran
was
at
a
that point,
she was a
right?
New York State senator at the time,
Right.
and she ran against Obama while she was senator of New York. But she only got implanted into New York as a senator in order to run for president, right?
So
That was the only
it
reason
could
I-
have screwed up W's second term. Could have, maybe. Definitely would have screwed up Obama's or Hillary's.
I think it would have squashed anybody. I don't think anybody would have made it past him.
No, definitely not.
He was way too. I can't think of another
America
president
loved him.
before Kennedy
Absolutely
or
loved
or
him.
maybe Reagan that was liked that much.
Right. Now, not knowing the politics, would he have been a
It was Democrat.
Democrat? Okay.
Oh, so he would have killed it. He would have killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was intended to be a successor to his father and Bobby Kennedy, for sure.
Right.
And he was the golden boy, right?
Okay.
Even maybe more so. I mean, he had the looks and the talent. And this is when I don't want to call it social media because social media wasn't out back then, but
Internet was starting.
It was starting, but I'm talking about like the he was on the cover of GQ. And,
He had charisma,
yeah,
and
had a lot
he
of
had
charisma, and he was,
And money. Money helps.
well, and he had the name. His name was
he had the
actually-
name.
Name brand.
Well, and his dad left such a good legacy with the American people that everybody wanted him to end up one day running for president. At least
Yeah.
every single
Yeah,
grown person I knew
right.
at that
He was
point.
he was cut short at JFK, right?
was,
So
yeah.
people
Yeah.
wanted to, like, no, let's do that again. They liked it.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, obviously Hillary couldn't get in over Obama, but there's no way Obama would have been elected if John F. Kennedy Jr. ran
Heck
against him.
no.
Honestly, there's no way anybody would have gotten elected besides him if he actually ran because he appeals to Democrats and
Yeah,
Republicans.
he did. He was I
So-
think he was
He covered it all.
a fair moderate. He was a moderate.
Oh, he would have been two-term. No, without a problem.
That's interesting how it changed the landscape of the entire political system for the last 20 years.
So I guess I propose a question: who had the most to lose? You know, and we don't need to answer that. but
Maybe
I think-
people behind the scenes, but I was talking to somebody this week, and don't forget that there is a society called Skull and Bones.
That's a W thing.
that's-
that's a
that's
Yale
real?
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes out of Yale.
There was this movie years ago. Do you remember this, Brittany? It was called The Skulls that came out, and it was with Ryan Felipe and some other guys, and it was like they were all in, I think it was prep school or something like that, but this went way beyond that. So I wonder if that movie is based off of this group
I think
you're
it's
talking
based
about.
on the premise of Skull and Bones that this quote unquote secret society exists. Now,
Yeah, that's
now,
what that was.
With that being said, everybody knows Skull and Bones actually exists. There's no denying.
I
it.
didn't.
You can look it up in
Oh, yeah.
Wikipedia. It exists.
It exists.
The,
I believe you.
the secrecy is in what goes on inside Skull and Bones. Now, they'll even have notable members. For example, George W. Bush is a member of Skull and Bones.
I think HW was too.
John Kerry, who's a Democrat, is part of Skull and Bones.
Fire bad.
Yeah,
John Kerry.
right.
That was a great SNL skit.
That guy's funny. Yeah. So Skull and Bones does exist. It's not a secret. The
It's
secrecy.
a non-secret secret
I knew it.
society.
The secrecy in the society is what goes on inside.
I knew that movie was based on some truth,
Yeah, it does exist. But it's hard to say because you could look at the upfront, material characters, if you will, those who you can touch and say, the Bushes and so on and so forth. But I don't think that's where any of that would have come from. I think it would have come from covert more covert operations, if you will, in order to make sure that
The clowns in America?
yeah,
Yeah.
the right people come to power, but they don't have to be involved in the nefarious activities.
Oh, I think
being in covert operations and offing people like John F. Kennedy Jr.
Well, I mean, that's when we start transitioning into the tinfoil hat kind of arena, right? How much?
So we're in the conspiracy area again, as usual.
But we led there with a logical discussion, walking there, right? And then leave the conclusion up to, the listeners. Because, I think who had the most to benefit? Well, okay, that might point a finger. But then if you start throwing in the covert intelligence agencies into that, then you start getting into things like, wait a minute, are we really getting choices when we're voting? Or is this like some kind of pre-planned kind of...
Who have we chosen?
No one.
Who have we actually
You get options, and then you
selected?
choose out of those 2 options, 3 options, 4 options of what you would live with.
If the American people were to participate earlier in the process, we might have choices
Like, you mean from the beginning where you actually have to vote somebody in to be...
to run.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
That's where you'd have choices.
I mean, that sounds like an actual democracy.
Well, be careful, because too much democracy.
And Kanye's president.
And no, that's how you get Stalin. No, sorry.
Yeah, Kanye.
Or idiocracy would be the Kanye version.
Kanye's never getting in, obviously. He's
Giant monster trucks fighting it out.
No, too many people stopped liking him.
He's either playing or he's delusional, one or the other, or both. All right, one more conspiracy. We'll take a break.
All right.
You remember that 9/11, of course.
No. What happened?
People tend to forget about this. We may have spoken about it before on the podcast. I want to say it was about 2 or 3 weeks after 9/11.
Okay.
So, tell me if you remember this, anybody.
All right.
An American Airlines flight crashed out of New York with 200 some odd people on it. It was on the news for about half an hour and not talked about thereafter.
Who was on that plane?
Well, the point is, let's imagine that this happened today. An American Airlines flight, or whatever.
Well, we just had some disappear, over the Pacific, a few years ago.
That was a
in
few years ago.
Indonesia.
Imagine today.
Just gone. We don't even know what happened to it.
Yeah, that one was weird. That one's still weird. Imagine today that an American Airlines flight or any other big carrier flying out of New York crashes. How long does it stay on the news? A long time.
A week, 2 months.
Months.
Well, it'll go for a week, and then they'll back off, and then they'll come back in 3 to 4 weeks when the FAA comes out with their report.
Right.
But that was barely talked about at all.
Who was on the plane? What was the passenger list? I would love.
You know what I think may have happened? I have a different spin on it.
All right.
Not who was on the plane, but that it was an extension of 9/11. And the government didn't want to freak anybody out any more than they were already freaked out. The economy was teetering, right? So they just shut it down. They shut the story down by not providing any info about it.
Well, okay, wasn't there something that happened, and you're talking like about a month after 9/11?
It wasn't even a month, I don't think. I think it was within weeks.
But there was news reports right around that time that they had talked about they had foiled a plot to take down 10 airliners at once shortly after 9/11.
I haven't heard of that one.
There was actually, and it's stuck up here in the memory bank somewhere, But I mean, I remember that.
I vaguely remember that, along with some huge list of suspects that were supposed to supposedly be on it, but this was the only plane that ended up being affected.
And it was right around the time, so the shoe bomber
right?
happened. Then
But
there was a plane crash, and then it was like right around that time there was like 10 planes that they had said, we have stopped a major catastrophe on the airlines.
Right.
The shoe, if I could, I think the shoe bomber was much later than the incident I'm talking about.
Okay, I thought the shoe bomber was pretty close, but
No, because we're on a time warp.
Yep.
So that was in Detroit, actually, here.
Mm-hmm. They actually tried him here, yeah.
Right, on a Delta flight, maybe.
He's running a party store downtown.
What year was the shoe bomber? Sorry, more research. No, but the American airline.
2001.
The shoe bomber was 2001.
Mm-hmm.
What month?
Oh, let me look.
You might be right.
So the incident that you're talking about happened 2 months after
Okay.
9/11.
Okay.
So
The American Airlines flight.
yeah,
200 some odd people on that.
yeah, 260.
Oh, that's a
People.
lot of people
260.
for a plane. It's a big plane.
That's, yeah.
Sorry.
So that was 2 months after.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, I remember watching it and thinking, this story stuck for like a day.
Mm-hmm.
Then
December. End of December 2001.
was the shoe bomber.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So
Yep.
So all that happened within
Mhm.
3 months. And that fucking bastard. Now I gotta take my shoes off every time. And my underwear.
what?
It's very embarrassing.
As long as you got your
Underwear.
Glade underwear, you're fine.
Underwear.
The underwear bomber. Look that one up.
And there was actually one of those, and he actually blew a hole in the plane, and it took the plane down. I think it was going over the Pacific. Blew a hole like 10 feet big in the
I
plane.
don't think he was successful.
He was
though.
well, it didn't bring the plane down, but he did blow a hole
Yeah,
in
he
the
blew.
plane.
Okay.
Blew
All right.
himself up. He was like blown in half.
Oh, good
sitting
for
in a
him.
hole. Yeah.
I'm
That
glad
was
he.
in Detroit too.
I'm glad he-
2009.